I'm Cece Cole McInturf. I'm a sculptor. I'm with the Otis Street Arts Project. I'm very happy to be part of this quite wonderful patterning show with Pyramid Atlantic. I love metal and wood and drawing the metal and wood. And I love making hand-formed paper, both very small, thin, uneven sheets and big floor-to-ceiling installations. But for the last several years, I've been working in organic ephemera, plant and animal material. No synthetics, no technology. Very instructive, very rewarding, very humbling material to work with. This is a sable palm husk from Southern California. It fell 40 feet or so in front of me over a year ago. Sable palms are smooth trunk, tall trees. So this husk was protecting a branch of blossoms, and as the blossoms grow, it dries and it falls. And it's dead. As it fell, I was so shocked that it fell right in front of me, and it's big. The bottom is as thick as wood, required a drill, and the top gets very thin and crisp like paper. But I thought it was incredibly beautiful and evocative, even though dead. And I made a custom box and I shipped it to myself. And so during the months of this year, during this pandemic, I attached the husk to my air conditioning vent at home and have been sewing it these months. I think it's called Languages Not Yet Spoken, which I'll get to maybe again at the end. This is one actually of two husks. It sounds unbelievable, but yes, it happened a second time. My mother was spending the last years of her life in Southern California, and I was going quite regularly. And it happened again. The second one, along with this, will be part of an outdoor sanctuary at a gallery in upstate New York in 2022. Together, they are languages not yet spoken, but I'll talk about what that language is at the end, if I may. Pattern and patterning. Well, of course, the sewing and the stitching is a pattern, a visual pattern. There's wonderful striation of a pattern just naturally in this husk. As you go up here, you can see, and I hope if you come to see the work here at Pyramid, feel that pattern. But honestly, initially, the pattern was no pattern. This was very much like triage initially, in the ER, stop the bleeding. Well, this was stop the drying. It was drying very quickly, getting very crisp, and I would sew a part of it tentatively together. The next day I would come, it was dried, kind of broken apart. So it was rather a mess for a good while until we established its spine, established the curvature it wanted, until it really expressed itself. Once that was stabilized, then the pattern became obvious. Stitching and replacing all of those crazy triage stitches with neater ones, more calm ones. And this was something that was growing as well with the work on this piece. But really, over time, I'll tell you, the pattern here is a pattern of motion. I mean, you can see a pattern of stitches, but it was a pattern, a repetitive pattern involving my body. And ultimately, I felt my mind, what I was thinking, what I was intending as I did it. Stitches up and down are in and out like this. Some of the other stitches on this curved side are pretty funky when you're getting in and up and around this way. Each one, it was really a pattern of motion. This is just plain hemp cord, ultimately, that I used. Over these months, and this is really relevant, I think, to the pattern and the patterning that I feel having worked on this piece. We've seen a lot, understatement. Due to the virus and many other events that have taken place. And so having seen and then overstimulated reading, hearing, feeling, all that, this was a very, again, stabilizing, calming, and grounding pattern of motion in sewing that really was the benefit, I think, of this piece. And it made me think, truly, an aspect of the language not yet spoken, so when things change, when things get injured, disfigured, when relationship ends, well, there's the obvious set of adjustment feelings, but can we find something of value or beauty, grounding, something positive from it? And in this case, honestly, as I look at it now, the pattern coming off it as a maker, anyway, is hope and possibility. It really was in a very different shape when it hit that ground, that sidewalk in front of me. But now I feel that it is speaking to each stitch, showing up every day, a breath at a time, a step at a time, a stitch at a time. It really speaks to hope and possibility, and maybe healing. And when I say healing, I don't really mean that I was pulling in something of self-comfort, stitching this husk together, so much as feeling like by doing it and doing it again and doing it again over these days, weeks, months, these particular days, weeks, months, it was more like a healing, just kind of going out to everything, all of us. The language then, what is the language not yet spoken? I would say the language in these materials, plant and animal material, in this husk, I hope when it is partnered with its second husk, which is much darker and much more badly damaged, I hope that language is a quiet wisdom. Just a quiet wisdom. We have a lot going on, and we want to react to it and respond to it and judge it and label it and fear it and hope it, I'm there. But this material also reminds you of a good quiet wisdom that we do find in nature, to which we are quite connected. And I hope you can come spend some time with it quietly and maybe sense your own language looking at it. Really a privilege to have spotted it and worked on it, and I'm looking forward to doing so again with its partner.